This is Mick Foley.
This is Harley Race.
This is Shelton Benjamin.
This is Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff.
This is the Monster Abyss.
And this is Daniel Bryan.
This is JBL, and you're watching the MWF.
Be there live.
Wrestling fans from around the corner and around the world, welcome to another installment of Wrestling Insiders. I'm Dan Marotti here at MWF Studios, just north of Boston, in downtown Melrose, Massachusetts, 02176, the zip code of champions. Stay tuned after the news for some awesome money-saving deals where you can support indie wrestling. Let's check out WWE Monday Night Raw, August the 8th, 2016, from the Honda Center in Anaheim, California. For WWE Superstars exclusively on the WWE Network, Sami Zayn defeated Curtis Axel, and Jack Swagger with the win over the returning Jinder Mahal. Raw opened up live with Enzo Amore and Big Cash pushing the issue that began during the opening segment last week. Chris Jericho had his new right-hand man Kevin Owens with him when they confronted the duo, and as I speculated last week, these two teams will indeed square off at SummerSlam. After a verbal back and forth, Chris Jericho defeated Enzo Amore via disqualification. Owens grabbed Amore when the ref wasn't looking. Then Big Cass, he was having none of that. He hit Jericho with a big boot, I should say, for the DQ. Braun Strowman defeated Gerald Nelson, another quick, decisive squash match where the Wyattless Strowman is running solo. As I've noted each week since the draft, this has been the perfect execution for Strowman now that he's being exposed in singles matches, albeit quick ones. My worry is that it's not going to be pretty once he's put into competitive matches on television or pay-per-view. Strowman has the perfect look for a heel, great facials, a monster, he's intense, but doesn't have much to offer in the ring. When fans have a certain expectation for top guys in 2016, I think he'd benefit from a manager at the very least. There was a segment with Mick Foley, Kofi Kingston, Xavier Woods, and Puff Daddy backstage. They congratulated him on being the executive producer of the new WWE 2K17 video game. I believe he's putting together the soundtrack. In a rematch from last week, Darren Young defeated Titus O'Neil in another quick match that was just sort of there. Young got a little revenge on his former tag team partner Titus, using his trunks after he did the same to him the week before to gain the pinfall victory. Bob Backlund was a happy camper. Up next with a Seth Rollins in-ring promo, he said that he was forced to reevaluate Finn Balor after their physical confrontation last week. He joked Finn Balor wasn't even his real name. And of all the people that Balor has beaten, he hasn't beaten Seth Rollins. Not a lot of new ground cover here, but it was an effective promo as Seth Rollins is set to take on Finn Balor to crown the first WWE Universal Champion at SummerSlam. Cesaro defeated Sheamus in another rematch from last week. Cesaro won that match as well and earned a future championship opportunity. Great video continuing the build between Brock Lesnar and Randy Orton. Perfect way to keep both guys out of the ring and having another physical confrontation with each other. And it was a successful video piece, as when it was over, I wanted to see the SummerSlam match that much more. I believe more fans believe that as well. Far more often than not, WWE puts together tremendous video packages, and this one fell right in the line with that. Neville and Sin Cara defeated the Dudley Boys. There was an altercation during the pre-show between the Dudleys and Neville. Dudleys told Neville to find a partner, and he picked Sin Cara. Bubba Ray appeared pissed at Devon and the losing effort. As much as the Dudleys are on the road to nowhere right now in WWE, I think it'd be a really bad idea to split them up unless Devon's leaving and Bubba Ray is going to stay as a singles heel as he was in TNA. Devon's looked really slow in a WWE-sized ring after competing for so long in TNA when they returned last summer. Up next, WWE United States Champion and Rusev reenacted their wedding vows. Nobody in Anaheim cared. There was champagne, there was cake. And when you see cake on a wrestling show, you know what's coming next. Roman Reigns came out. He was very effective in this piece. Rusev turned down Reigns' request for a U.S. title match. Roman said he expected more from Rusev, much like Lana did on their wedding night. The two got physical, ultimately seeing Rusev bump into Lana, who went flying into the cake. She was a crimson mask of cake, not blood. Rusev went wild in the back, and Raw General Manager Mick Foley ordered the match between Reigns and Rusev at SummerSlam. WWE Women's Champion Sasha Banks defeated Dana Brooke. The stipulation here was that if Sasha won, Brooke could not be in Charlotte's corner when she faces the Boss at SummerSlam. Great video piece next on Finn Balor, the background of his name. It came from Finn McCool, a giant who threw land into the sea and created the Isle of Man. The king of demons is Balor, and when his eye opens, The world is going to hell in a handbasket, in other words. He said Rollins has never seen a demon like him, but he'll see the demon at SummerSlam. They used some really cool special effects at the end of the interview to turn Finn's face into the demon. Next week, we're going to have some kind of a confrontation between Finn and Rollins. The club did a comedy piece where they dressed up as doctors diagnosing Big E's ring post-itis after he was crotched on the ring post last week. And off Raw this week selling the injury, they said Kofi Kingston was going to be the next one infected. Luke Gallows went on to defeat Kofi Kingston in yet another really quick match. After the match, the club tried to give Kofi a little ring post-itis, but Xavier Woods charged at them with a steel chair. Up next, Mick Foley called out the SmackDown general manager Daniel Bryan to apologize, tongue-in-cheek, for Lesnar attacking Orton last week on SmackDown. Bryan did the same. Bryan took a couple of shots at the WWE Universal Championship name. Rusev came out as the two traded barbs at each other. He said Raw didn't need a champion because they had him. Cesaro was out next. Bryan said Cesaro was underutilized on Raw. At that point, Foley ordered Cesaro Rusev on the spot for the U.S. title, as the WWE U.S. Champion Rusev retained over Cesaro after interference from Sheamus. Crowd got into it towards the end, thinking we might see a title switch, as this was the last match of the night. After the matchup, Roman Reigns charged down the aisle and hit a flying spear on Rusev. Looked really cool from the camera angle they used, similar to an angle, probably a year and a half or so back with Reigns in the Big Show. After Raw went off the air, there was a dark match main event of Randy Orton defeating Bray Wyatt, a chance to give two SmackDown stars with no live event to work, a chance to earn some extra money and give the fans in attendance at Raw more value for their time and money. Out in California, Raw goes off the air shortly after 8 p.m., so it wasn't like it was a late night for the fans on hand by any stretch of the imagination. Fans were tough on this week's Raw, receiving its worst feedback in quite some time. For many years, I've stated the top guys don't need to be on TV every week, and that was the formula used this week, where there were so many pre-produced video segments effectively building SummerSlam. They got the point across, but at the same time, the matches they did have, they weren't really any good, and they were really quick. Overall, the fans gave it 40% thumbs down, 37% thumbs in the middle, and only 23% thumbs up. Disappointed by that. I don't know what it was, but I really grew tired of Michael Cole trying to impersonate a wrestling commentator this week. I think Cole's great at sit-down interviews and voiceover pieces, but after almost 20 years as a commentator, he's just not good at it. He's not someone that's effectively selling the WWE product. If he's not selling tickets, pay-per-views, network subscriptions, exciting fans about what they're watching on the screen, I don't understand why he's not used in ways where he's far more effective, situations that he can be quite good in. Even though it's been several years since we had Jim Ross on weekly WWE television, I had to ask the fans who they'd rather hear on Raw every week, and the results were startling. 88% said they'd rather hear Jim Ross, 12% Michael Cole. What does that say? One Raw to go until we hit SummerSlam in Brooklyn. Going to be a big SmackDown Live tonight on the USA Network. Would love to know what you thought of Raw in the comment section below. It's a hot summer on WWE Network with WWE NXT and the Cruiserweight Classic lighting up Wednesdays, along with SummerSlam and not one but two pay-per-views, with Backlash and Clash of Champions in September. Not currently subscribed to WWE Network? Come on now. Use our link below and get 1 month absolutely free. Get the pay-per-views live, the awesome weekly shows, and over 6,000 hours of on-demand content for free. See Lesnar and Orton at SummerSlam, Holy Foley, brand-exclusive pay-per-views, and so much more. At its regular price of only $9.99 per month, it's the best value in sports and entertainment. You want to talk about a great summer sale? Head on over to the MWF store on the BostonWrestling.com super site. We've got brand new WWE t-shirts, autographs, action figures, posters, and more. And this summer, I have a special where if you spend $25 or more, you get a WWE t-shirt absolutely free. Not only is it a great deal, but every dollar spent helps our endeavors to bring you action-packed live events and video content. Enjoy 1,200 free videos on our YouTube channel. As we count down to our 15th anniversary, we're releasing a new video each day at 12 o'clock, flashing back to highlights and even a few lowlights on the adventure that is the Millennium Wrestling Federation. Subscribe to our channel using the link below or use youtube.com/BostonWrestlingCom. We also have regular news videos, TV episode recaps, results, interviews, and so much more. Help us bring you even more great video content by donating an amount of any size to paypal.me/Boston Wrestling. Again, every dollar donated helps us bring you more great live events and video content. That wasn't enough. We have a new video on demand section on YouTube where you can either rent or own some of our classic state-of-the-art studio shoot interviews. In honor of the 10-year anniversary since the original No Holds Barred Iron Chic studio shoot interview went viral and on the Howard Stern Show, we've remastered it and made it available for fans around the world to enjoy for as little as $5.99. We also have an awesome WrestleMania 1 roundtable studio shoot with the Sheik, Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff, and Cowboy Bob Orton, where all three WWE Hall of Famers look back at the WWF boom of the 1980s. John Cena Sr. joins me as co-host for in-depth studio shoots with both Paul Bearer and the first and only shoot ever done with the Boogeyman. Bull Dempsey joins us and pulls back the curtain on WWE NXT. Again, not only can you rent or own these awesome interviews, but every dollar goes right back into our efforts to bring you live event and video content. Another easy way to help our efforts is to use the links below or on the front page of the BostonWrestling.com super site to do your shopping on WWEshop.com, Amazon.com, or Walmart.com. If you make a purchase on any of those websites, wrestling-related stuff or not, we get a tiny kickback, and best of all, your cost doesn't increase 1 cent. Hey, Christmas is going to be here before you know it. Please keep us in mind, as again, every purchase made helps support indie wrestling. Last but not least, have a free ride on me with our friends at Uber. That's right. If you've never used Uber before, get a free ride up to $20 on the house to try out their great service. Forget about overpriced taxi cabs. Uber service is great. The cars are clean. The drivers are some interesting folks. Use the link below and see for yourself. I tried Uber for the first time last October in New York City for the WWE Madison Square Garden event, and I've used it regularly ever since. You won't regret it. Running out of time here, folks, as we approach our 15th anniversary. Don't miss a day on the BostonWrestling.com super site, as you never know what's going on in our world. Like us on Facebook.com/MWF Action. Follow us on Twitter at MWF2001. And again, subscribe for free to our YouTube channel at YouTube.com/BostonWrestling.com. Until we speak again, folks, you and yours, be well.